Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DIY and in this quick video, I'm coming to you from my kitchen and we're going to talk about the difference between ink from Magnolia Design Co and chalk paste, also from Magnolia Design Co, because I know a ton of people have this question, which is which, what's it for, how does it react with the stencils, how do you make it less thick, how do you clean your stencils, and all kinds of things. So let's start at the very beginning. Chalk paste is the main product that you're probably going to use most of the time. This can be done on any hard surface. It is not permanent unless you want it to be and you spray it with a clear matte sealer spray. Otherwise, it is not permanent and it is removable. Chalk paste comes with a black lid. It is not anything like chalk paint. And I know that's the biggest misconception that people have. They think that chalk paint is the same thing as chalk paste, but it's not. Paint is paint is paint is paint. Chalk paste is like the little chalk sticks that your teacher used to write on the blackboard, okay? But it's in a paste form and it has color. Ink has a white lid, and ink is for two things. It's for ceramics and it's for fabric, and it must be heat set, okay, to be permanent, but it is permanent. So for example, this adorable t-shirt that I have on right now, this is ink. I heat set it after it was dry with a hot iron, set on cotton for 3 or 4 minutes on each place, and it's been washed and dried, and I'm wearing it a second time, and I'll be able to wear it for a very long time to come. Okay, they do sort of look kind of similar when you're looking at them. Let me make sure I remember which is which. This is Magnolia Green in ink and in chalk paste. All right, the next question I get, and I'll show you some projects that'll make it make 100% sense. The next thing I want to tell you is, what can you do if your chalk paste becomes a little thick or starts to dry out? First of all, that is a naturally occurring thing that happens. This chalk paste, calcium bicarbonate, started its life as a rock, a hard surface, and it's just trying to go back to that. So if you notice that yours is starting to get kind of, like I would say mine is starting to get a little bit dried out, you can use distilled water. Use a little bit at a time, put it into your chalk paste, stir it up, and put the, whoops, this was ink. Okay, but it's the same story. If your ink is getting a little dry, you can use distilled water in it, stir it up, and put the cap back on it. Also, if your chalk paste is getting a little dry, you can stir it up, put a little bit of distilled water in it, not regular water, because we don't want to grow a science experiment, right? And regular water, tap water, bottled water, sparkling water, those all have different impurities in it that can grow bacteria and mold and all kinds of gross things. So you're just going to add a little bit of distilled water, stir it up, put the lid on tight. Don't leave it out for a long time without the cap on it. And this is what distilled water from Publix looks like. This whole thing was probably 90 cents. It's not expensive. I keep mine underneath the kitchen sink, and when my little spray bottle is starting to get empty, I just come and fill it up with distilled water. Okay, so moving along. This is ink. It has a white lid. Ink is for fabric and ceramics, and it must be heat set. If you're doing a fabric project, you're going to heat set it with a hot iron when it's dry. Put a piece of parchment paper over the stenciled area between that and your iron and just go over it for 3 or 4 minutes. And I have a couple of projects out here to show you that are ink. This is fabric, right? And this was a project that I did many months ago. I probably won't ever wash it, but it's fabric, so I'm gonna use ink. Here is another project. This is my Bible study bag. Isn't it cute? I did a video showing how to create this ombre effect. This is the Magnolia tote bag, which is super nice too. And so the blue on here is ink, diluted and used to make an ombre effect painted on here. And then the white words are ink. So when you think of white, like on this bag or on my t-shirt, think of the white cap on these and remember that that is ink. Chalk paste has a black lid, and with chalk paste you can do 100 different kinds of projects on hard surfaces, which could be wood, painted wood, stained wood, fiberboard, glass, plastic, paper, I don't know what I'm not thinking of, but this is an item that you would use chalk paste on. This was a project that we did 2 weeks ago. And this is brown chalk paste. Also, here's another project that we did a while ago. Every good and perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. This is a Dollar Tree $3 cutting board that I painted and used a stencil. Do I have this one out? I don't think I do. And I used different colors of chalk paste to stencil this. Now, I'm never gonna wanna change this. And I probably won't ever want to change this. So I just sprayed both of those projects when they were dry with a clear matte sealer spray, and then this chalk paste is gonna be on here forever. That doesn't mean that you could immerse it, put it in a sink full of soapy water. It just means that it's not gonna come off. Chalk paste does dry hard and stable, so, I mean, technically you really don't need to even do anything to it. It'll stay where it is until you wash it off. Here's another project sitting in my kitchen that we did a while ago with these fun, bright colors. This is a tarnished silver platter that I bought for $4.09 at Goodwill. I painted it and then stenciled using these fun colors of chalk paste. All right, let me see what else I want to tell you. Okay, when you are stenciling on a hard surface like that, or that, with a Magnolia stencil, you are going to want to fuzz it. Because, for the first few times anyways, because these are very sticky, and if it's brand new or only been used once or twice, it's going to adhere to your hard surface like crazy. And when you pull it up, sometimes you can pull up some paint or whatever might be on your hard surface. Also, you can tend to stretch these. So, to fuzz, this is a tacky towel from MagnoliaDIY.com. I would just take my stencil off the backing sheet, which I always label them, so I know which side to put it back on. I would lay it on my tacky towel and just do that a couple times. If you don't have this, you can fuzz on a t-shirt, you can fuzz on a pair of jeans, you know, any kind of fabric that's not going to be filled with lint. Like don't fuzz these on your terry cloth bathrobe. Okay, and here's a trick. Let me do it right here. Here's a trick to get your backing back on it. I usually lay my stencil down with the sticky side up, and then I put the back on it that way. And it's easier than trying to lay the stencil down on top of the backing sheet. Okay, let's talk about staining. And we're gonna pretend like we're washing this. This is an adorable stencil that says #blessed. I've had it for a long time. I've used it a lot. And when you're working with ink that has the white cap and is in a dark color, it can have a tendency to stain the front of your stencil, but that does not impact how your stencil is going to function. It just looks pretty, which when I see this, I think, I love this stencil, and here's the proof. So let's pretend like we're gonna wash it, and let me talk about what I do. All right, say it was just used and it's got stuff on it and you can't get to your sink right away. With ink especially, you wanna get it in some water. So I would turn it upside down with the sticky side up, and I would just plunk it in my little cruddy tub, which I've had for 3 or 4 years. Looks terrible, works just fine. And I would let it soak for a few minutes. Or, you know, until I could get to the kitchen to clean it. Okay, now I'm gonna figure out how to get you to be able to see my sink. Let me go up a little bit and then aim this down. I'm sorry if I'm making you seasick. Okay, and no judgment on how dirty my sink is. All right, so when I take it out of the tub, it's still gonna have ink on the front, and I'm gonna lay it in my sink. And this thing right here is you have to get this. This is called a stencil cleaner sponge. It looks like a magic eraser, but it's not the same thing, okay? This doesn't have a bunch of stuff in it that's gonna mess up your stencils. It has this scrubby side, can you see that? And because I'm frugal, and I don't wanna use, I mean, this is just a couple dollars. I always cut mine in half. And I'll stick the other half back in this little sleeve, back in my drawer, in my craft room. And this one I'll leave out by the kitchen sink. Okay, if the stencil is really, really stained, or I'm having a hard time getting anything off, I'm gonna use this. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray it. And I'm using cool water. 9 times out of 10, that will take everything off that you're gonna wanna take off. But say it's still stained, or it still has stuff on it, and I wanna try a little more, I would lay it on my counter, and I would take this sponge, get it wet, put a teeny tiny little bit of dish soap on there, and then I'm just going to use this on the front of my stencil. It's not going to remove this stain that's been on here for a couple of years. And then I would rinse it. And then I'm going to turn it over to look to see, do I have a whole bunch of gunk fabric, usually if I did it on fabric, that's kind of stuck in the back of it. And if I do, you can almost roll it up and pull it off with your fingers. Then I would rinse it again. Then I would lay it on a towel here in my kitchen. Oops, I got too low. Just on this counter right here, like this, with the sticky side up to dry. Okay, if I am super impatient, let's come back to normal here for a second. If I'm super impatient and I want to use this stencil again right away, then, and this is going to go in my little container of kitchen sponges. Okay, if I'm super impatient and I want to do 10 more projects with this right away, then I'm going to use this. This is the tacky towel that we fuzzed with. This side is for patting your stencils dry. So I would just lay my stencil on top of it and pat it dry. And there we go. It's dry and ready to use. In general though, I think the best practice is to let your stencils air dry in your kitchen. All right, so now how am I gonna get the backing back on it? I've marked which side is the back, and I'm just gonna take this carrier sheet and lay it down on top of the stencil. And that's the easiest way to get the stencils back together. Okay, what else do I need to tell you? Ink, with the white lids, once you have heat set it, it's gonna be permanent, washable. This is what you would wanna do if you were gonna make like a tea towel, or a t-shirt, or a tote bag, or a pillow, anything that you can anticipate that you're gonna wanna wash. And then you wanna heat set it with a hot iron. Suppose you're using this on a ceramic piece. Then once it's dry, you heat set it in the hot oven. Well, you start, okay, in a cool oven. And put your item on a cookie sheet in a cold oven, then turn your oven up to 300, 280, 300, and set your timer at that point for 30 minutes. So it's gone from 0 or from just room temperature up to the heating amount to heat set it. It's gonna stay there for 30 minutes. Then you will turn your oven off and it's gonna stay in the oven until it is back to regular temperature, room temperature. Okay, but here's what I wanna say about that. What happens with ink when it's heat set, whether it's on a mug or a t-shirt, is it sort of melts into the fibers of the fabric or the ceramic piece. So if your ceramic piece has come from Dollar Tree and it is super shiny and glossy, like 100% of what you can get there, that ink is not going to really be able to penetrate into the pores of the ceramic. It's prevented from doing that by the gloss, the covering that Dollar Tree and other places put on your item. So if you want to do ceramics, don't buy them at Dollar Tree and be looking for something that is less shiny. Let me look in my cabinet over here and see if I can find 2 things to show you. Oh, I found the perfect thing. Perfect! Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Can you see that shiny glaze that's on the ceramic piece? Ink is not going to really be able to melt into the pores of this ceramic. It's going to be prevented to do that by the glaze that's on here. This, on the other hand, it's much duller. It doesn't have a super thick, shiny glaze on it. You would have a better chance of having a good result with this versus this. Can you see the difference? That being said, with ceramics, even if you've heat set it on a dull piece of ceramic and you feel like the ink has melted into the pores of the piece, you still are going to want to hand wash those items. You're not going to want to put them in a sink full of hot soapy water to sit for a while, and you're not going to want to put them in the dishwasher. Because if you put them in the dishwasher, you know, they wash dishes at all different temperatures. Your dishwashing detergent is all different kinds of strengths. When you take your item out of the dishwasher, it will not have anything on it. Also, if you say you were doing a plate you would not want to put the ink design where your hot, wet food would be. So those are the two things I want to tell you about ink. So when you think of ink, it's for fabric. It has a white top. Think about this cute t-shirt with these white sleeves, and so this is ink for fabric and ceramics. The black are chalk paste for pretty much everything else. Let me see, do you guys have any questions? How do I get one of your green pads or towel that I use? As soon as I get off, I will get you a direct link. How does that sound? So you don't have to hunt it down. Okay, here's another question that I get sometimes. And this would be, let me just fix this. This would be a good piece to use to explain. Okay, technically, this is fabric, right? But it's never going to be washed. Nobody's ever going to sit down with a moist or wet jacket and rub up against it. It's not going to get handled a lot. It's just going to be hanging on the wall. So I could get away with using chalk paste on something like this. But here's the deal. If you use chalk paste on a t-shirt, the first time you wash it, it's going to be a big mess. If you use chalk paste on a pillow on your sofa, you're risking that you're going to ruin your sofa and the pillow. If you use it on a tea towel, it's going to be a big mess. So while sometimes you can use chalk paste on fabric that's not going to get touched a lot, that is not going to ever get damp, and that you're never going to need to wash, like that banner, sometimes, if you're absolutely desperate, you can use chalk paste. Otherwise, you want to use ink. Ink, think ink fabric, think cute sleeves, cute t-shirt, white lid, ink. How did I get the design perfect on my sleeves? It's not, can you see? But it makes no difference. They're still absolutely adorable, don't you think? And if anyone wants the link to watch this video, just say t-shirt video, and I'll show you the video that I did on the sleeves. Well, I think that's mostly all I can think of to tell you right now. Just the difference between ink and chalk paste. If they get dry, you can use distilled water for both. Use it sparingly and stir and see if it needs more. Don't pour a whole bunch in right at the start. Just take your time and go slow. And you do want to stir those regularly. That's called chalk paste maintenance. The ink does not seem to dry out as quickly. The chalk paste started like pieces of chalk, and it wants to go back to that hard state of being. It's just what it wants to do. So a couple times a month, stir it up, add some distilled water, not tap water, or bottled water, because you're going to be putting impurities into your little pot of chalk paste, and you may be growing a science experiment, not knowing it. If your stencil, if you're having a difficult time getting your stencils clean, this one is too late. It's going to always look like this, although it works just fine. If you want to try to get the stains off of your stencils, you need this stencil cleaner sponge. This is what I do with my stencils as soon as I'm done with them, because usually I'm live on Facebook and I can't just say, hey, you guys wait for 5 minutes while I run out to my kitchen and clean this. So I put it in water until I can get into the kitchen to clean it up. Okay, somebody's asking me, how long will the paint last? What paint are you asking about? This is not paint. I'm sorry to tease you like that, and I don't mean anything not nice by that. But paint is paint is paint is paint is paint. It dries permanent and it will permanently clog these little holes on your stencils, making it so you can use your stencils once or twice or maybe 3 times. But if you use only chalk paste or ink or etching cream, we did that yesterday, then these will stay, the screen will stay nice and clear, and you can use the stencil until it's, you know, dead dog dead, and then even longer after that. So paint is not chalk paste. They both have the same word, sometimes chalk paint and chalk paste. But chalk paste is what you want, not paint. And these will last, I don't know what Magnolia actually says, 6 months or longer if you do regular chalk paste care, and you make sure that you always put the cap right back on it. And you can continue to add distilled water to it to, you know, make it last a long, long time. As far as the contents of this, there's a lot in here. You can do a ton of projects, but don't buy a color of chalk paste that you don't think you're gonna want for the next upcoming season. Like the Christmas colors right now, red and green, unless I was knew I would be using them for something this spring or summer or early fall, I would not buy those colors now, because I don't want them to just be sitting around for 7 months before I use them. So that really seems to only be true for chalk paste. Ink seems to last much, much longer. Okay, who else has a question? And I'm sorry about teasing you about the paint thing, but people ask me about paint all the time, and I never use any paint on my stencils. Not chalk paint, not acrylic paint, not craft paint, not latex paint, not milk paint. I don't use any paint on my stencils, and some of my stencils I've used like 50 or 60 times. I'm not even kidding. So these are an investment, and I want to put it away when the season's over, or when I'm tired of it. Pull it back out next year, use it, put it away, pull it back out the year after, put it away, pull it back out the next year. So if you want your stencils to last a very, very long time, don't use any paint on them. Let's see, what was this comment? Maureen says that she buys the primary colors and then she mixes them in smaller batches. Yeah, you can do your own mixing, like a white chalk paste with a navy blue chalk paste could turn light blue. So you can do that kind of thing. You could combine 2 colors of chalk paste or 2 colors of ink, but don't combine ink with chalk paste. That is a very good point, Maureen. Thank you for reminding me to talk about that. Oh, one more thing, one more question that I get a lot. How do I store my stencils? I have this cabinet called an Alex drawer. It's Alex drawers, and it's from IKEA. It was not expensive, and it has wheels on it, and it has about 8 drawers that are not deep. They're shallow and they're wide. So I put my stencils back on the backing sheet, and I have mine organized by categories. So I have my all over patterns, which those are my favorite, all in one drawer. Then I have my faith stencils. That's my next favorite category, all in one drawer. Then I will keep in the drawers below the stencils that are seasonal for the upcoming seasons, and I will tuck away my Christmas and fall right now, because I'm not going to be doing Christmas and fall projects right now. I want to do summer. I mean, I'm almost ready to skip past spring. How about you guys? Do you feel that way? So I just have those in a file folder in underneath a cabinet where our printer is. And I'll pull those out and I'll put away the spring and summer, And so mine are just laying flat in a drawer, and that works just fine. Some people put them back in the little plastic packaging that they come in and hang them. But yeah, Maureen says she hangs hers on a pegboard. That works too. That's just too difficult for me. Can you paint on ceramic with chalk paste? Yes, you can, Juanita. You can use chalk paste on a ceramic, but it's not going to be permanent. So if you were making something like a ceramic ornament, that would be fine. You could spray it with some clear matte sealer spray and it'd be fine. But if you're wanting to do a mug or something that would need to be washed or could get wet or could get hot, you need ink, not chalk paste. Just remember, ink is for fabric and ceramics. Ink is for fabric and ceramics. Chalk paste is for everything else. Sandy says she just got her Magnolia March Craft Club project box today, and she's asking, can she change it so she could get it earlier in the month? Yes, I believe you can. And I believe that what Magnolia's process is for you to give them a call. Their phone number is 970-404-5383, and ask them if you can move it up a little bit earlier in the month. The first few days of the month are slammed with craft clubs going out, so they can't move it back to the very beginning of the month. But they're so great to work with. They'll do whatever they possibly can to help you out. If you want to move it forward or move it back for some reason, like if you're waiting for your paycheck and you don't want that charge to go through, just give them a call, 970-404-5383, and work it out with them. And they are, either Shayna or Sam will answer the phone, and they're both awesome. Let's see, do I have any other questions? Just look for just a second. Bria says, I have to say you're such a blessing. You empower so many of them. She's super excited for my days when I start doing my devotions. I'm excited about that too. If you're new to DIY Dreaming, you may not know that on Sunday I do a program called Christ in Crafting. I do it in the afternoon after church on Sunday afternoons. I go live there about 3 Sundays a month, and I do a project that is faith-based. Usually they have a Bible verse, and then we go into the Bible and talk about what that verse says. I pray. It's great. And I am adding something else to my lineup. I'm still going to be doing my Facebook Live craft projects, mixing it up all the time, pretty much every afternoon. But I'm going to start doing a devotional, like a 15-20 minute devotional, 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I can't do it Wednesday because that's my Bible study day. Sometime in the very early afternoon. I'm not sure whether that will be 12 Eastern or 1 Eastern. And if you want to join me for that, I would love to have you. It's going to be great. We're going to be using this book called Go For It, which is about living to the fullest extent of what God has for you. And if you want to get the book to follow along with us, just say book, and I'll give you the link where you can go online and order it. Okie dokie. Well, I have just blabbed and blabbed and blabbed. This was going to be a short video. But I love talking about crafting. I love stenciling. I love doing chalk, paste, and ink projects. So I just got started talking, and I've talked for a long time. Don't hesitate to ask questions here in the comments, because I'm going to go sit down in my comfy chair and start answering questions and getting, the information out to people. If you want chalk paste link, say that. If you want an ink link, say that. If there's a stencil that you want, that you know what it's called, or you could describe it, and you just want that. Like this is the most awesome Esther stencil. Perhaps you were created for such a time as this, Esther 4:14, or maybe you wanted this Isaiah Righteous Right Hand stencil, which I absolutely love this one. It's Isaiah 41:10. You could just kind of describe what it is, and I'll be glad to get that for you. If you want the link to the book that we're gonna be doing the devotional with, let me know that and I'll get it for you. I'm planning to get started in about a week. I'm still waiting on my book to come as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was good information because if you have been confused about the difference between chalk paste and ink, you are not alone. And also if you wanted to know the difference between chalk paste and chalk paint, you are not alone. And I hope that I made that easy to understand. And remember, white is ink, black top is chalk paste. All right, have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys later.